Hey guys, welcome to the second installment of hot rodding your Hot Wheels for race applications. As you can see, I've kind of got things whittled down to just the parts I need. I probably will put the glass into the body, but other than that, I don't think I'll be using the interior. I just have the Dumping A chassis, the 34 Ford body, and the Buick nailhead seemed to be the resounding winner on for the selection on the engine. I should tell you a little bit about what I've got going on here. A long time ago, when I first got into racing, had several people, I think Traction Event and Smitty, probably both sent me a bunch of engines because where I was working, I had access to a mold shop. And so basically I could just, I could have my buddy just throw, several engines on a single sprue, and he could make me up a whole bunch of copies of them and out of resin. And one of the cool things about this, I don't know how well it's going to show up on video, but he actually cast these up with like a metal powder in the resin. So I should be able to take a polishing wheel to this engine and actually shine it up once everything's all ready to go. Now what I was just working on a little bit before I started the video was I had to just clearance out the back a little bit to get it to fit down over the frame. And you can see it sits right down on there pretty nice. If I have to play with it a little bit, I can add a little JB weld under the front just to to tip the engine a little bit, but it's sitting in there pretty square, so I'm not going to do too awful much with that. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, and I also wanted to say, I opened up the donor Chrysler 300 that I had, and checked the wheels, and the wheels were not very good on that car. So even when you get an FTE car, that's not a guarantee of good wheels. It's not like they were garbage, but they were not the best. So I won't be using those. Just so happens that I did have a fast fish that was still in the blister, and I was talking about using the smaller wheels with the narrower rear wheels, and it just so happens that looks like they're going to fit really well. But what I wanted to talk about, and I'll talk about a little bit here in the next segment, is order of operations. Quite often when you're doing stuff like this, there's a way to do things to make your life a lot easier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these wheels out of the fast fish, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I scavenged the wheels from the fast fish and just plopped them down in the chassis. They're just sitting in there, and I actually had to. These old frames have these little metal tabs that are right in here. I think they were probably where the molds were filled. I'm not really sure, but it was actually a little wide with those tabs on there, so I just filed those tabs off, and now I've got just really nice clearance on the chassis. But what I was saying earlier is order of operations. I've built enough things and gotten in a hurry and gotten ahead of myself enough times that I know now to take my time before I start putting things together, and to actually look at stuff before I start. Now it would have been very easy, of course, to get excited about fitting the engine in there, and it's like, oh boy, let me glue that engine right in there, and then you wouldn't be able to get your wheels in, or likewise, start to fit the body, and you don't have clearance enough for the engine. But so order of operations is doing things in the order that they need to be done in. It's a pretty straightforward thing. I mean, you really, if you take a little time before you start to build and just kind of spend a little time with the actual parts themselves, doing test fittings and just taking a little time to actually just stop and think about what you're going to do next, you'll probably save yourself a lot of time in the end. And what I'm talking about here is the engine looks like it's going to fit in there really nice. I'm going to have some clearance issues with the body, but I'll get into that later. It would be really easy to just, you know, glue these wheels right in, but I'm not going to do that because I have a really close clearance on this front bumper. So, as I said the other day, I am going to heat that and bend it. I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to do that on camera or not, but yeah, I'll be right back and I'll show you what I'm going to do next.